Hello class, hello professor. So our group did the presentation on two articles. The first one being the legalization of marijuana, and the second one being marijuana was more popular than many victorious politicians on the same ballot. So I'm going to start with the first one, the legalization of marijuana. Okay, so our group had two articles, as I said. They're kind of on the same subject. We used the Huffington Post for both articles. The first article focused on where voters would support marijuana legalization, and attached to the article was a survey. The survey focused on voter turnout in general, and the second one brought attention to the fact that more people have voted on the issue of marijuana legalization than the actual government election. So I'm going to start with the first article. So the first article stated that while the article's polls showed that more people supported the legalization of marijuana, only in private places, not in public places. So that means like your home, basically anywhere private, just like not parks, no monuments, no anything public. So there was 66% of Americans that said it should be legal to smoke pot in a private residence, which is huge because marijuana is still very much illegal in a lot of states. So while the article's poll showed that more people support the legalization of marijuana, as I said, it did show that they were against marijuana in public places. The article, Americans Support Legal Pot Smoking as Long as Not in Public Places, has a poll that is much more versatile because it uses nominal and ordinal measurements, rather than the first article, which uses only nominal data and limited question set. So, on the first article, on the public places article survey, surveyors were asked to answer questions about how they feel if marijuana was legalized in public places. Answers were labeled and ranked as such. Number 1, strongly disagree. Number 2, somewhat disagree. Number 3, somewhat agree. And number 4, strongly agree. And you can see the different scale of the different answers, so that's why we feel like it was very much nominal and ordinal measurements. Additionally, the public place article takes into account many variables, such as gender, region, political party affiliation, as well as many others. While this is great, the survey only surveyed people who used the Huffington Post website, which led to higher participation of Democrats than GOPs. It is difficult to tell what kind of skew the first article had because it just recorded the number of people who voted on the election versus the people who voted on marijuana legalization. Huffington Post did use an outside polling company called YouGov, which provided for more information regarding the percentages of people who voted on this issue. As I said earlier, 66% of Americans said that it would be legal to smoke pot in private residence, including 72% of Democrats and 70% of independents. Even Republicans tended to say that smoking marijuana in private residence should be legal. Both articles supported the use of marijuana in some way or the other, and obviously had stronger feelings about this issue than who represents them. Now, moving on to the second article, the one on the Huffington Post, where marijuana was more popular than most fictitious politicians on the same ballot, which is huge because most people are inclined to go and vote for the election instead of going and voting for an issue that has very much been illegal for a couple of years. So in the first slide, you can see 2014's Oregon state election results. So before I start, we identified the independent variable as the voters. We identified the dependent variable as the election results. We also identified this type of survey, or it was actually the election poll, as ordinal. And the measure of central tendency, we said it was mode, because mean, there's not really, an average of people, because it was very much percentage-wise and voter turnout, and medium because it was a yes or no question, so there wouldn't be really any relation to that. So what we see in the first slide is measured 91. There was 56% of the people who said yes to legalization of marijuana, while there was only 49% who voted for the winning candidate, who was a Democrat, in this case for the governor. And for the U.S. Senator, only 55.7% voted for the winning Democrat U.S. Senator, And still, the legalization of marijuana still had a higher turnout, which says a lot. In the Alaska state elections, we see that the leading Democrat had 45.83% of the votes, while the leading Republican had 47.96 of the votes. But then we see when the ballot measure 2 asked if they wanted to decriminalize and legalize marijuana, 53.23% answered yes. So that's very much still a higher percentage than the electors, or the candidates, sorry. In Washington, D.C., the election results were similar. There was 35% or 35.6% for the winning Democrat that voted. There was, hold on one second, I can't really see the numbers. I believe is 65.91% for the United States senator, or the District of Columbia senator that voted turnout, and for marijuana it was 64.87, which is incredible. We're in the nation's capital, and also number-wise, there's more people that voted on the issue of our Initiative 71, which is the legalization of marijuana, than who voted for the U.S. representative of the District of Columbia and the senator, and as additionally to the DA of D.C. So, as you see, both articles have very much, poll-like, or elections in this case, information that we were able to, look at the different variables, look at what it made up, and from there come up with results. So, hope you like our presentation. Thank you.